I'm getting my stringer. All right. Hello. Happy Monday, everybody. We are jumping right in today. This week we have got some crazy stories for you. Drake is suing Spotify over Kendrick's Not Like Us hit. Young Thug just got out of prison and he's already being sued for $16 million. And Miley Cyrus is getting sued for copying a Bruno Mars song, but Bruno Mars is not the one suing her. So we have several those and other stories tonight. Those are just the tip of the iceberg. So I want you guys to stay tuned. Before we get started on those stories, we're going to do a recap of last week for anybody who wasn't here. Last week we talked about Kentucky Fried Chicken versus Church's Texas Chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken was suing Church's Texas Chicken for using the phrase original recipe, which KFC has a trademark on. And someone asked if Church's Texas Chicken was the same thing as Church's Chicken. We didn't know at the time, but I found out that Church's Texas Chicken was the original name for Church's Chicken, and they have since gone back to that old name. So for the person who was asking about Church's Texas Chicken, there's your answer. Okay. Second update. Soldier Boy, we talked about Soldier Boy Implies last week, but we actually have a clip this week. Lil Will, who was the originator of, the beat for My Dougie, he was on the Breakfast Club this week. And he talked about this whole controversy with Plies, right? He said that if Plies is going to sue Megan and Glorilla and them, he's going to sue him because if he gets a piece, because if Plies gets a piece, he wants a piece, right? But Lil Will also had this to say about the lawsuit. Okay, so I'm going to share this. I'm hoping that I don't get a copyright strike, but we're going to do our best here. Here we go. This is the one that I want to share with you guys. So I want you guys to listen to this.
All these individuals.
Hey, well, let me ask you a question. Somebody told me that the song ain't none of y'all's. That Nitty Beats did it before all of y'all.
Hey, Nitty is involved in the situation. Nitty is credited in the situation.
Yeah, Nitty already getting music from Soldier Boy, from what I was told.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, it's all public information.
Yeah. So all of y'all tripping off a song that ain't none of y'all. Nitty the one that should be suing.
But let me ask
you. Right. So basically what's happening here is the actual owner of the beat for My Dougie, Wannabe, Me and My Goons, Pretty Boy Swag, is owned by a famous producer by the name of Nitty Beats. Okay. Now, I'm not even the biggest rap connoisseur, and I know who Nitty Beats is. So so Nitty Beats is apparently the owner of that beat. So if anybody's going to be suing anyone, it's going to be Nitty Beats suing all y'all. Hey, Miss Whitney. Y'all give my Miss Whitney a follow because she's a really dope person. Okay. Hey, Sunflower Vibes, Tracy, how you doing, girl? All right. Another update that we have: Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign. They're last week we talked about them being sued for using music without permission on Vultures 2 by 3 Memphis rappers. Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign, this is not their first issue with this with this issue. That whole album, Vultures 1, they've received several what do you call them, lawsuits for copyright infringement, from Ozzy Osbourne to Donna Summer. I don't know what's going on in Kanye's mind, but I don't think things are going well. Okay. And the last update I'm giving you has to do with a story we talked about last week. We talked about Sweden trying to trademark their country name. I found out that it's not just the country name they're trying to trademark. They are trying to trademark the phrase "visit Sweden," for tourism and things like that. All right. So that is our wrap up for last week's stories. We are going to get started on this week's stories right now. I see one of my co-hosts has joined the live. Canna Cape Cod, are you still there? I sent you the link to come on stage. What else? Is she here? Is she in the room? Yes. So while we wait for her to come on, for those of you can't get on StreamYard, do you want me to bring you on IG? Because this happened to you last week. Maybe try give it a couple minutes because I still have to introduce myself. All right. So now that we've done the recap and we're waiting for Canna Cape Cod DC to hopefully be able to come on. Hello, Black people businesses. I want to introduce myself. I'm Natalie Pierre Lewis. I am the host of NPL Legal Dish presents Who's Getting Sued? This is a live broadcast where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. For those of you who may not know me, I am a licensed attorney, and I help entrepreneurs get their business life together. So if you need help getting, that business idea off the ground, I encourage you to go to the link that I just put up. There you will download my totally free, $0 Biz Launch cheat sheet. It's basically a checklist that will help you, dot all the I's and cross all the T's for whatever business you are trying to start. Okay. So I'll leave that up there for a bit. All right, let's get started on our stories. Canna Cape Cod DC, are you still working? Can we start on our stories? Okay, and well, I've done this show by myself before. Okay, so the first story that we are talking about tonight. Do we have any Katy Perry fans in the house? Any Katy Perry fans in the house? Katy Perry, she's had hit songs like Firework. She's had hit song, what was it, Dark Horse. I kissed a girl and I liked it, right? Well, as we know in this day and age, musical artists, they're getting into more than one area of business. And some years ago in 2019, Katy Perry was sued by another woman named Katy Perry in Australia for trademark infringement. This woman, we'll call her Katie Taylor because that's her married name. She was selling loungewear under the name Katy Perry. That was her brand. She had a trademark in Australia. Now, during all this time, Katy Perry, she's doing her thing, music and merch, and she's got other businesses, and she was selling things all over the world. And when the Katy Taylor in Australia found out, she was like, whoa. So in 2018, Katy Taylor went and filed a trademark for the name Katy Perry and then sued Katy Perry for trademark infringement after she got the trademark. Because that's what you do. When you have a trademark, you're allowed to sue people, right? If they use your trademark. So Katy Taylor, she sued Katy Perry for trying to sell her merch in Australia, and she won in 2019. However, Katy Perry's lawyers went back and they appealed that decision because they said Katy Perry had been using her stage name of Katy Perry 5 years before Katy Taylor even opened her boutique. As a matter of fact, Katy Taylor didn't even think about Nicole, can you let me mute you. Actually, I can mute you. Katy Taylor did not even think about trademarking her business name until she realized that Katy Perry, the singer, was a big thing, right? So Katy Perry's lawyers appealed this ruling that she had violated this woman's trademarks, and they won. Katy Perry not only won the right to use her stage name in Australia, they canceled the Australian Katy Taylor. They canceled her trademark in Australia. So now Katy Taylor has to start from scratch, right? So this is the lesson we learned from this is that when you have a brand, if you're really serious about your brand, if you're going hard for your brand, you need to trademark early, because somebody out there, it may not even be on purpose. There's 7 billion people in the world. Some people are just going to have ideas at the same time. So it's really important that you trademark early. Thank you for coming on, Nicole Butler of Canna Cape Cod. Can you please introduce yourself real quick and tell us what you think about this Katy Perry debacle?
Oh, thank you for having me. I am Nicole Butler of Canna Cape Cod, DC, the first all-inclusive bed and breakfast on the East Coast. Um, Honestly, I think that it is unfair. I think that the other lady is, the underdog with less money, so she'll probably lose, but that doesn't mean that she should. I think it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but the sticking point for the court was that Katy Perry had started using her stage name in 2008, and Katie Taylor in Australia, she started her loungewear business about 5 years later in 2013, and then she didn't bother to trademark until she realized Katy Perry was actually becoming a big thing,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you
But she
don't.
still was the first to trademark.
Yes, she was in Australia, but
Okay.
she wasn't the first to use the name for merchandise. So, that's why it's important to do your research out there. Not only do your research for your trademark because you don't want to trademark something that might be taken away from you. Your trademark can be taken away from you if the circumstances are right. So, we send prayers up to Katie Taylor in Australia, but Katy Perry's going to be out here selling, that Katy Perry merch. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems almost like bullying because she's the bigger star.
I mean, is it bullying? All they did was appeal. They just appealed the ruling. They didn't do it. They didn't go on, some campaign. Yes, Katy Perry can afford better lawyers than Katie Taylor, but
Right.
it's just a matter of, how much. One, yes, how much funds did Katie Taylor have to continue this battle, and two,
Right.
how much do you really want? How much do you really want this trademark? Right.
Right.
Yes.
So wait, was Katy Perry her maiden name?
Yes, she was born Katy Perry, and then she got married. Changed her last name to Taylor, but she's like, "This is my loungewear. Not putting my hubby's name on it." Katy Perry, right?
I got you.
Okay. People in the in who are watching, I see y'all. I see the numbers. Please give me your comments on this story in the comment box. I will definitely read it out as we move on to our next story of the evening. Okay. And I know y'all want to hear this, especially on Instagram, because this was the title of the show on Instagram. But if y'all did not know, Young Thug is out of the frying pan and into the fire again. Young Thug, most of us know, he's a hip hop artist. He was in a trial it's the longest criminal trial ever in the history of Georgia. He ended up, getting off with 15 years probation, and he can't go to Atlanta for 10 years, but he can still make music. He can still make money. And he hasn't even been out a month, and he is being sued by hold on. Sunflower Vibes 24 is saying here, I know it was fair, but Katy Perry could have reinvented herself. She already has the fame. But she could have, but why? Her brand is, she's going on tour. She's selling Katy Perry merch. The woman sells loungewear. If it's something where Katy Perry was selling, maybe cookware, pots and pans, you got an argument there. But if they're both selling, hoodies and sweatpants and things like that, there's crossover, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, but them's the breaks. Okay. Yes. So Young Thug, he is being sued by AEG, which is a a music, what do you call a record label, right? Because Young Thug had borrowed prior to getting, arrested and being on trial for almost 2 years. Young Thug borrowed $5.2 million from AEG for his tour. Okay. And he put up the copyrights to his music as collateral. So Young Thug said, hey, AEG, I'm trying to do this tour. I'm going to make so much money. And I know I'm going to make this money. So I'm going to put my catalog, my copyrights, the stuff that I make money from, the royalties I get, I'm giving that to you as collateral for this $5.2 million loan. Young Thug defaulted on the loan.
Okay. Needless to say.
Yes. Not only did he default on the loan, he was also booking shows on the side, off the books to make money so he wouldn't have to pay the record label AEG. Okay. And so when they started asking for their money back, Young Thug is like, dang, I need some money. He sold the rights to over 400 songs. This was in 2021, and he made $16 million, right? But then Young Thug got caught up. So AEG couldn't continue their lawsuit against him because it was civil, because he was undergoing a criminal trial. Now that Young Thug is out of the criminal trial, AEG said, excuse me, we had something going on before you were locked up. Run us our money. So
wait a minute. First of all, Young Thug has 400 songs.
He may not have recorded them, but who knows? Maybe he helped write songs. He may have unreleased music, things like that, right?
Okay. So wait a minute. So he sold the same songs that he had up for collateral?
Yes.
See, now all the racketeering and stuff makes sense. This is crazy.
Right? So imagine somebody lends you lend somebody $500. They say, okay, for this $500, I'm going to leave you this expensive watch. This expensive watch is going to be collateral. They don't pay you back your money, and they sell the watch.
Yeah, that's
disrespectful.
Totally.
So Young Thug sold the rights to over 400 songs in 2021, and AEG said, run us that money back, sir. You owe us $5.2 million plus interest and whatever damages, because we've had to run after you and wait for you while you were in a criminal trial. So do y'all think Young Thug has, at least 5.2 million, but do you think he has any of that $16 million left after this ridiculously long trial? What do we think Young Thug's finances are looking like?
I'm sure the lawyers have eaten all of that up.
Okay.
I know if I was fighting for my freedom, I would spend every single dime on it. So I'm sure that money is gone.
Right. So AEG, what are they supposed to do? What options do they have?
They better eat it.
Put it in collections. You think one of the biggest record labels in the world is going to eat it? No. What they're going to do is they're going to go to the people who Young Thug sold the rights to and say, hey, this was not an authorized deal because he owes us money. So run us our money. Right. So they're either going to ask for the copyrights back, or they may just ask for the monetary amount that
Wait, but
want.
if they've already bought it from Young Thug,
they did. Now,
how are they responsible for paying back his debt? I mean, basically, he sold something that wasn't his. However, does that fall on the purchaser?
Now, I'm not saying that they would have to give him cash. They may have to turn over the rights to the music.
Right, because it wasn't his to sell. So he basically sold them a car with no title.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, they've this company, yes, Sunflower Vibes, they essentially would have to pay his debt. He sold the rights to this company. They're making money off of the royalties for these 400 songs that Young Thug sold, the rights that Young Thug sold to them. And AEG is probably going to be like, run us them copyrights back so we can get the royalties to pay off his debt. Right? Sunflower Vibes said, so do they get the money back? No. No. They would have to sue Young Thug for that money. They would have to sue him for the $16 million and say that, you knew you weren't supposed to sell this to us and you sold us sham goods.
That sounds like a whole nother crime and a whole nother trial to me.
And that's the whole thing. Like, was that a crime or was it a violation of a contract? Right. So we have to see if this is going to violate Young Thug's probation, which would throw him right back in jail. And then nobody gets the money.
Can he just file bankruptcy and just go hell with it? I mean, come on.
Some debts cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. And just because you file bankruptcy doesn't mean that you don't owe the money anymore. Some bankruptcies just allow you to restructure so you can maybe get a payment plan, whatever. I don't know. But, good luck to him. May the Lord be on his path.
Oh, man.
Sunflower Vibe said, I'm hurt for them. I'm hurt for them too, right? Imagine having to turn over $16 million worth of merchandise that you purchased because the person who sold it to you wasn't supposed to sell it to you.
So I'm thinking either there was some forgery or something involved, because how do you, I wouldn't buy something without, the documentation that it was yours to sell, especially with that kind of money. So I'm thinking it's probably not going to be the sale. It's going to be like forgery and all the stuff that goes with a faulty sale.
Well, here's the thing. Had the tour gone well and Young Thug, made that money, he could have just paid off AEG, right?
But he got locked up in the meantime.
Right. So he was cash poor. He needed to when did he get locked up? Because it's 2024. I don't can somebody remind me when his trial started? Because he sold the rights to the songs in 2021. So I'm trying to figure out if this was just a liquidation sale so that he could pay his legal team. Y'all want to let me know? Because I remember there being an issue. His legal team was complaining that they were not getting paid. Y'all let me know. But yeah, so Young Thug, he's gonna have to pay somebody. I don't know. He's do some local shows, do whatever you got to do, sir. But you need to be out performing and making money because you owe a lot of people money and you owe a lot of money.
Okay, he didn't get arrested until May of 2022.
Okay, so then so it was a cash grab. He defaulted on the $5.2 million loan and then sold the rights. Oh, what a jerk.
Right. But if he didn't get arrested until May 2022, and it was RICO, I'm sure there was some, you know what I mean? He probably knew that they were on his trail. He's probably trying to get his shit together.
Unload stuff so he can, I don't know, maybe come back and get it later. But either way, Young Thug got problems. Okay.
big problems, big boy problems.
Nicole, I just found this story like literally 10 minutes before I went live, so I didn't have time to send it to you. But did you hear that Drake is suing Spotify?
No.
Drake is suing Spotify over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Drake's legal team is suing them for false advertising, deceptive business practices, and violating the RICO Act because he said that they artificially inflated the popularity of Kendrick's single Not Like Us. What do y'all think about that? Think about Not Like Us when it came. How many times did y'all press rewind on Not Like Us?
Ooh-wee. How many times did Kendrick press rewind on Not Like Us? That's the real question.
But just my audience right now, think about when Not Like Us came out. How many times did you listen to that song? You could not escape it, right? Even I'm not even the biggest boy rap fan. Give me the girl rap. Give me the Glorilla.
I am responsible for at least 1,500 listens. I am personally responsible for 1,500 listens.
Okay, all right. So, do we think Sunflower Vibes 24 said sound like Drake being petty? Do we think that there is even the possibility of payola or them? He said that basically there was a plot to inflate Not Like Us. He said that they fired people at Spotify who were loyal to Drake. They what else? He said they basically set it up so Kendrick could, be on top. Sir, I don't even care for boy rap. And I was rewinding them things 5-6 times a day for like a month. So I agree with Sunflower Vibes 24. I do think this is Drake being petty. I just want to show you guys the people he had set up to have him on top. Yeah, so apparently I guess he had people at Spotify who, were supposed to keep him. Here's the article. It's in Rolling Stone if you want to find it. Drake claims UMG Spotify artificially inflated Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. And he says that the attorneys allege UMG conspired with Spotify, fired employees who had loyalty to Drake, and that influencers were paid to promote without disclosing payment. What I want to know is what influencers were paid off? All I heard was that Kendrick released the copyrights so that content creators could, could talk about the album without getting copyright strikes. And now we're talking about RICO violations and deceptive business practices. But and you're saying that they fired people who are loyal to you. If you're claiming that it's payola, why do you need to have people at Spotify who are loyal to you? The music should speak for itself, should it not? Right? So, do we all agree with Sunflower Vibes that Drake is being petty, or do we think that High Diamond Sweat Aquafina, ain't seen you in a minute? Do we think that Drake, is being petty over this lawsuit from Spotify, or do we think that Drake, he has an actual what do you call that?
Case? I think he's being super, super petty. When did he file? The day Kendrick dropped the new album?
I just saw this story today. So recently, I guess
it's a retaliation. He's trying to distract from the new album being out. In my opinion, I'm just saying.
So for those of you on Instagram who may not have heard Canna Cape Cod, she said that he's doing this to distract from the new album that Kendrick dropped. Do y'all agree with him? How many of y'all have listened to GNX? I listened to it the other day. I was on a long drive and I turned it on, and it was, listen, and I'm not kidding y'all. I don't care for boy rap. I listened to the whole thing. It was great. So does Drake need to, get over his feelings and move on and just make some music, or does he actually have a case here? What do we think? I know Sunflower Vibes said he's being petty. I'm with Tracy, Sunflower Vibes, but you can feel free to disagree. Okay, let me know in the comments. All right, moving on to our next story in the evening. Now, we have all been hearing about this Diddy saga for at least 6 months. Actually, was it last year around this? No, it was in March. We started hearing, about the downfall of Diddy in March of this year, and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. All right, how many of you guys heard about the attorney who he has 120 separate accusers and has filed lawsuits on their behalf against Diddy? Has anybody heard about that? Anybody heard? If you have heard about that, give me a thumbs up in the comments, okay? So, among Diddy's many legal battles that are going on right now, you have this lawyer, Tony Busby, who has 120 accusers of Diddy that he is representing. I think he went through 3,000 applications, and 120 of them were, I guess, credible. So, he's filing these lawsuits. Everybody wants a piece of that Diddy pie, right? Apparently he's been reaching out to other people who are associated with this case. If you notice that with these stories that have been coming out about Diddy, while they say celebrities were there, they never mention the celebrities' names. It's always high profile celebrity this, high, athlete that. They never, ever, ever say their names. Because, hey, Mason Jar, because nobody wants to be in that mess, right? So much so that one of the, I guess, high profile celebrities who, I guess, has been associated with these Diddy issues, they have they are filing suit against this attorney, Tony Busby, claiming that he is trying to extort them. Okay. It's all of them, that's why. Yeah, well, one of them is not playing no games. They said that Tony Busby came to them and said, if you don't want me to put you in this lawsuit, run us a coin. Tony Busby went and said, these things are not credible. That is not what happened. Yes, I did reach out to this person, but I was just asking for mediation. He said there was no monetary amount specified. He was just like, hey, can we have a conversation and talk about this? And this high profile celebrity is like, oh, no. He's trying to extort me. So who do we believe here? Do we think that Tony Busby, who is filing 120 separate lawsuits against Diddy, and is probably, if he wins, set to make a good coin, went to this high profile celebrity who obviously doesn't want to be in the public and said, hey, so can we talk about this real quick? Can we just sit back and have a conversation and see what can there be a meeting of the minds? Because that's essentially what Tony Busby is saying happened. And I'm not saying he's right or wrong, okay? Because I'm all about, listen, to these victims, get your money, girls, okay? And guys. But do we believe that Tony Busby was being completely, altruistic and, just being a good lawyer and trying to reach out for mediation, right? Let me know what you think. Now, regardless of what the majority of people might think, having something like that put on you as an attorney who is filing all of these lawsuits, that could cause, for lack of a better term, brand tarnishment for these victims, right? Because if the victims are being represented by an attorney who is trying to extort celebrities, then that lawyer is casting doubt on any of the cases filed against Sean Combs. So, do we think the lawyer was trying to extort these high-profile celebrities, or do we think that he was, really trying to get mediation done? Let me know what you think. Miss Whitney said he's not a good lawyer. Candy Cape Cod DC and Mason Jar, you can feel free to come on in the room. Come on. Oh, you don't want to be on. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. All right. So where was I? Diddy. Okay. So what do we think about this lawyer, Tony Busby? Is Tony Busby on the up and up, or is he just trying to, listen, I'm gonna make money off these cases. I'm gonna try and make a little on the side too by keeping these celebrities' names out of the tabloids because they know they don't want their names in there. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that Tony Busby was definitely trying to capitalize on the fact that celebrities do not want to be mentioned in this lawsuit. And hi, Roxamil, Miss Whitney said he's trying to make money. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I do think he was trying to mediate with the celebrities and hoping that there was some, large figure settlement. He said there was no monetary amount specified, which is fine because you don't go in necessarily asking for an amount. But Miss Whitney said, Tony, we know what's up. But it seems kind of weird that you want to have mediation with someone who is accused of sexual assault. Tracy said, I think he got threatened and he was trying to get some side money so he can exit stage left. Got threatened by who? Miss Whitney said, it's either you want to help or not. Okay. So that's what Miss Whitney is saying, that's not right. He's supposed to be all about the victims. Sunflower Vibes thinks he got threatened. I want to know who you think he got threatened by. I mean, I know that they said Diddy has been using other incarcerated person's, phone minutes to contact people outside. So who knows? I don't know. But let me know. Miss Whitney said, I agree, some side money and exit. But exit where? You think he was just gonna drop the cases? Because you can't do that. Well, not without good reason. I want to know what you guys mean by exit. Do you think that he was going to get some money and then just leave the victims, the accusers, high and dry? Diddy has been on it and contacting others. So you think Diddy has been threatening him? Okay. All right. What else? Let me know. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so the lawyer representing all those accusers against Diddy is now being accused of extortion, and that could, really harm these victims' cases if your lawyer is about to be charged with extortion. Tracy said, Simplify Vibe said, the industry is crazy. Anyone could have threatened him, and people always disappear when celebrities are on trial. Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, they have been trying to really limit Diddy's, access to people, and he continually violates it. So good luck to everybody. Okay. He was going to find a way and make the judge feel like he can't be the lawyer. All right. Well, we will just have to wait and see, I guess. And, let me know what you think about Tony Busby, the attorney who is, filing all these lawsuits against Diddy. Do we think that, he was, trying to leave these victims high and dry, or was he really just trying to do some mediation? Okay. All right. I think we talked about Young Thug. If they just finding out, they think they in control. Okay, we talked about that and that. Okay. Speaking of people, I guess, trying to settle things outside of court, how many of y'all saw the story about Jonathan Majors' ex-girlfriend dropping her civil lawsuit against him? For those of you who need catching up, Jonathan Majors, he was a rising star in Hollywood. He got charged with domestic diviolence. Did he go to jail? Did he go to jail? I think no, they found him guilty, but I think he got off with time served. I forget what his sentence was. Wait. Yeah, I forget what his sentence was. And then after that, the ex-girlfriend filed a civil lawsuit against him looking for some money, right? Now, we've all seen Jonathan Majors in the news as of late with, his boo, Megan Good. I don't care what nobody say. I feel like that's a publicity relationship. I don't care if they got engaged. But we've seen him, slowly making his way back into the good graces of Hollywood. And then his ex-girlfriend, she drops the lawsuit against him. But she doesn't just drop it like that. Oh, sorry, I lied. There was a settlement. So somewhere along the line, his ex-girlfriend, Jonathan Majors, and his ex-girlfriend's legal teams came together and said, look, can we put this aside? And she was probably like, well, only if you run me a coin. And Jonathan is like, well, fine, because I'm trying to, get back in my acting gigs. I want to be Kang the Conqueror. So they said they settled for an undisclosed amount, right? But when I saw this story, I thought it was very interesting how they worded the titles. They said that she dropped the lawsuit against Jonathan Majors, but she didn't drop the lawsuit. It was a settlement, and they both went to the judge and said, hey, we both agree to dismiss this with prejudice. Why do you think the blogs, the magazines, why are they titling this Jonathan Majors' ex drops the lawsuit? Why do we think they worded it that way as opposed to Jonathan Majors settles with ex-girlfriend? Why do we think that? Let me know what y'all think. Okay, but before I give my two piece, and before I give my two piece, just let know, I used to, I used to find him, very handsome, but after look, I don't do domestic violence. No, we're gonna be boxing in here. Roxy Mill said to discredit her. Is it to discredit her, or is it to build up Jonathan Majors, right? Because if they say that she drops the suit, most people don't read beyond the headlines, right? So they're going to be like, oh, she dropped the suit because she lying, right? They're not going to read that they settled. It was a mutual settlement. And I think this is Jonathan Majors' way of rebuilding his image, his brand as, a good guy in Hollywood. The ex-girlfriend dropped the lawsuit. Yeah, I paid her, but y'all don't need to know that, right? You got to read the fine print to find out that he paid her. But yes, I think that the reason why they titled a lot of these articles that she dropped the lawsuit was to kind of bolster Jonathan Majors. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, because he's trying to make his way back into Hollywood. I assume that man does not have a trade. He cannot go fix trucks, nor does he want to. He wants back in Hollywood, and he needs to repair his image. So having this article out there saying that she dropped the lawsuit when most people don't read beyond the headlines is going to do a lot for him. Okay? Yes. All right. Sorry, I was on my soapbox there for a moment. Okay? Kenna K. Kyle, you ain't coming back? All right. How much? Oh, okay. Are we good, guys? Before we move on to our next story, just in case we have new people in here, I want to remind you that you are watching Who's Getting Sued, brought to you by NPL Legal Dish. This is my live show where I teach business and legal concepts using pop culture and celebrity news. Make sure you download my free Biz Launch cheat sheet using the link at the bottom there. There's the banner in that banner. And also, if you are a first-time client, I do help with business formation services. First-time clients get a free 15-minute consultation. So be sure to book one at that link right there. Okay. All right. Sunflower Vibe said he's trying to get into a Diddy party. Jonathan Majors trying to get into a Diddy party. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so the other, I posted in my stories the other day this picture. Oh, crap doodles. Hold on. I got to pull it back up. Here we go. Okay. I posted this photo, and I asked you guys if you had ever seen it. And most of you said yes. So I'm putting it up on the screen now. Oh, sorry guys. I'm putting it up on the screen now. I'm letting y'all see it over here on Instagram. Have you do you guys recognize this picture? Do you recognize this picture? Let me know. Hi, that Brandon guy. Do you recognize that picture? It's known as the Just Chill guy meme. And apparently it's been very popular. I hadn't heard of it prior to a couple of days ago. New phone, who this? I hadn't heard about it until a couple of days ago. But apparently it was really popular, especially amongst crypto people. But the image is starting to be used commercially. People are trying to use it to sell their stuff. And the creator, he looks like a combination of characters. Well, that particular image was created by one person. This image I'm showing you is on the illustrator's page. His name is Philip Banks. He created it in 2023. And because it has grown, hey, Brandon, it has grown so popular, Philip Banks is now enforcing his copyrights. He's like, no. I made this for fun and it was cool when y'all were passing it back and forth. But now you guys are trying to use my image to make money. I need a piece of that. So he is enforcing his copyrights. He has submitted his copyright application for this image. So if you are going to use this image to make money, or to promote something to make money or trying to sell it as prints, you need his permission. Okay, so that is the power of copyright. We don't know who Philip Banks is, but most of y'all knew knew what that image was when I put the poll up in my stories. And that's why copyrights are important. I don't need to know who you are to own it. All I need to know is that somebody owns it. Okay, so Philip is now going to be able to come after anybody who uses this image in a way that he does not approve of, and especially if they're trying to use it to make money. And that is how you secure your intellectual property, guys. Pardon me, sorry. Coughing. Ooh, thirsty. Okay. Okay, can I just, yeah, let me close this now. All right. Go back to the comments. Okay. So, good. It's good for Philip Banks. I hope you get your money, sir. Okay. And let's see what we want to talk about now. Okay, for all of this last story that we are talking about is for all of my crafters out there. I know a lot of you make amazing. Oh shoot. It was not, he created it and it was on his social media, and you know how things will go viral. You don't necessarily plan for it to go viral, but it does. It went viral. He didn't expect it to go anywhere. But the thing is, when you create something, when you create a piece of art, a book, something like that, you have inherent rights. You know, if you can show that it's yours. He's like, hey, I created this. This is mine. So now he can go to the copyright office and say, hey, this is the first time I used it, you know, and and give them that whole history. So something to be in the public domain, something has to be beyond copyright. So when we think of, you know, stories like Thor or, you know, Greek mythology, those are public domain because they're thousands of years old. So that's you know, copyrights tend to run out. They do run out. Okay. All right. So last story we are talking about, like I said, this is for my crafters, you guys who like to make you know, branded merch for schools and things like that. Penn State just won $28,000 against a small businessman, Chad Hartvickson, because he was selling unauthorized Penn State merchandise. Okay. He was using old logos. So logos maybe from 100 years ago, 50 years ago, because, you know, universities, they will update their logos. And he was using old logos from, you know, from items he had purchased to sell vintage Penn State merch. Right now, he said on his website, we are not affiliated with Penn State. He let people know that. But Penn State still said, you're using our logos on your stuff. Now, when someone has a logo, even if they update it, they still have the rights to the old logos. Okay. Like, I'm trying to think of somebody think about when the car companies, they update their, you know, thingies, their logos and whatever the thing, they still have rights to the old trademarks as long as they keep them up. So Penn State went to the court and said, hey, this guy is selling you know, our stuff is selling Penn State merch, vintage logos, you know, yes, even McDonald's, right? And he's not authorized to sell university merchandise. You need to be an authorized merchant. So they sued him, they won, and now he has to pay them $28,000. Okay. So for my crafters out there, please don't get permission. Okay. All right. And last story. Well, I thought that was the last story. This one real quick. If I don't know if you guys, do we have any Miley Cyrus fans in here or Bruno Mars fans? If we do, I'm going to play a clip for you very, very quickly, just so you can hear it. And then we're going to discuss the story. Hopefully it'll let me play it. Okay, listen.
Write my name in the sand. Touch your hand. Should've gave you all my hours when I had.
All right, so let's close that out. Do we hear any similarities between those two songs? That was a mashup of Miley Cyrus's Flowers and Bruno Mars's When I Was Your Man. Okay. Miley Cyrus is being sued by one of the writer. Well, no, Miley Cyrus is being sued by a record company who purchased the rights of one of the writers of Bruno Mars's song. So that seems very confusing, right? So when most artists, you know, some of them write all their music themselves. Most artists have a team of writers. Bruno Mars's song When I Was Your Man had 4 primary writers. 4. One of those writers sold his rights to the song to an outside company, right? This outside company is now trying to sue Miley Cyrus for royalties for the Flowers song because they're, you know, they're saying that it sounds the same, all this stuff. And Miley Cyrus's attorneys are saying, well, only one, you only have the rights of 25% of the people who wrote that song. You don't even have the right to be here. So I want to know from you guys, do you think that this company that purchased 25% of the rights to the Bruno Mars song has a case against Miley Cyrus for this Flowers song? Now, keep in mind, Bruno Mars is not involved in this at all, okay? So, do we think that the record company that purchased 25% of the rights to When I Was Your Man has a case against Miley Cyrus for the song Flowers? What do we think? I can buy myself flowers. I should have brought you flowers. And any opinions? What do we think? I think that this is a reach. I just think they realize that, you know, the song, it's a big hit. Let's just take a swing and see if we can get some of them royalties, right? Because when I Was Your Man came out some years ago, so it's not as popular as it was. But Miley Cyrus's Flowers is still, you know, doing pretty good. That Brandon guy said the collective or 75% isn't going after her, so no. Okay, so Brandon guy is saying that, you know, this outside party that bought the rights, they don't have a dog in his fight. Sunflower Vibe says, I think he has a case, but not a standalone one. If all the writers had a problem, then yeah. Okay, so another person is saying it's got to be all or none. So you guys seem to have an all or none mentality about this. It's like there's 4 writers, only one of them is, and not even one of them is complaining. Somebody who purchased that writer's rights is complaining, right? So yeah, I do think it's a little bit of a reach, but you know, there may be something there. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. All right. So yes, I realize that I have kept you guys so long. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for participating in this conversation. If you have any comments, please put them. Everybody trying to get money from absolutely, and intellectual property is a great way to do it. As a matter of fact, if you ever are you know, like a nerd like me, and you're looking on the USPTO website and there is an abandoned trademark, did you know that you can pick it up if they don't try to renew it? If somebody abandons a trademark, it's basically like leaving something valuable out on the street. Anybody could pick it up. Mason Jar said, if they win, I bet that 75% would join them. Probably. Yes, but thank you guys for hanging out with me this evening. Thank you for participating. Again, make sure that you download the free BizLaunch cheat sheet. Make sure that you book your free 15-minute initial consultations if you are a first-time client. I'm actually going to put the link where you can do both of those things in the comment box. So, what? Okay. Yeah. So that is where I'm going to leave you tonight. Do we have any questions before we sign off for the evening? I like to keep the show at about an hour. I understand that you guys have a lot to do, and I don't want to monopolize your time. So do we have any questions about the stories that we covered tonight? We talked about Drake suing Spotify. We talked about Young Thug being sued by AEG. We talked about Penn State winning $28,000 for someone selling invalid merch. Jonathan Majors and the wording of the articles about his settlement with his ex-girlfriend. We talked about Miley Cyrus being sued by a Bruno Mars writer. The lawyer accusing Diddy is being accused of extortion. What else? Katy Perry won against Katy Perry. And we talked about the crypto meme. And anything else? Do we have any questions? Also, Google might have to sell the Chrome browser. How many of y'all use Chrome? If you have ever used the Chrome browser. So it has been ruled that basically Google has been monopolizing search results. And one of the justices is basically trying to force Google to sell the Chrome browser. So Chrome users, they coming for us. Okay. All right. But yeah, so that is where I'm wondering what that's going to mean, in terms of, the AI results and things like that. But that's something to think about. We can talk about that more next week. I don't want to keep y'all too long. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching later. Again, thank you for your participation. Next week, we will do the same thing. If any of you want to be co-hosts on the show, please contact me on Instagram. I would love to have you up here to discuss stories. I'll send you the link and the stories that we're going to talk about, and we can have a grand old time, okay? So hit me up on Instagram, NPL Consulting Firm, if you want to be a co-host on an episode, and we can get that popping, all right? Have a great night, everybody. Bye.